Hi, this is the Tiger Wolf 55.
Yeah, and this is the Ninja Psychic Wonderloo.
What's wrong with you?
Wrong? You want to know what's wrong with me? First of all, I'm still fat. Second of all, you still haven't fixed my fat bulginess.
Still harping?
Third of all,
Ugh.
I lost on that stupid game show with that stupid little host. So yeah, something's wrong.
Okay, first of all, you are not fat. Will you stop harping on that? Second, I'm working on it, alright? I'm working on fixing it so that we can both go back to the way we were.
I am not harping, Wolf. I haven't even begun to harp yet. So you know what? Why don't you get off of my back and finish the intro, okay? You haven't done that. They're all waiting. Why don't you finish the stupid intro, huh?
Alright. Welcome to Cinema Semantics. I apologize for anything that my colleague here might say or do. Let's keep the violence to a minimum, shall we? Please spin the spinner.
Fine.
Okay. And today's subject is sci-fi fantasy. Now, today it's your turn to choose.
We're doing Batman and Robin.
That was very fast.
Yes, it was.
Did you have that lined up already?
Yeah, pretty much.
No matter what category was chosen.
What, it fits into all the categories that we have left.
Drama?
Yes, because in its lameness, it was very dramatic. So we're doing Batman and Robin.
Alright, but one question left. Why Batman and Robin? When we started this series, I thought we had agreed that we were going to focus on movies that were at least fun to watch, if not necessarily good.
Because right now, I want to make fun of something, and it's so bad, it's really good to make fun of. Do you prefer that I make fun of you? Because I can make fun of you real easy with the ears and the nose and the skinniness. So do you prefer that I make fun of you or the movie? The movie or you? Which is it?
Okay. Let's get started. Remember that apology.
Go.
Batman and Robin. Released in 1997 by Warner Brothers in association with DC Comics. Directed by Joel Schumacher. This is the second film by Joel Schumacher that you've chosen.
And?
Well, I'm just wondering, is there something that you have against this guy or for this guy or what?
I haven't decided yet.
Alright. The film stars George Clooney as Batman Bruce Wayne.
Oh.
Chris O'Donnell as Dick Grayson Robin.
Oh.
Alicia Silverstone as Barbara Wilson Batgirl.
Oh.
Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze.
Oh.
And Uma Thurman
Oh.
as
Oh.
Poison Ivy.
Oh.
Boy, am I glad that this movie doesn't have any more cast members I need to list. You might have coughed up a hairball or something. And again with the violence she makes. Okay, well, since it was your turn to choose the movie, you also get to give us the story synopsis. Please excuse me while I go recover.
Okay, so we have George Clooney running around as Batman doing his thing. Then we have Chris O'Donnell running around as Robin doing his thing, whatever you want to call that. Then you have Alicia Silverstone coming in as Batgirl doing her thing. Then you have Arnold Schwarzenegger running around with his gun doing his thing. Then you have Uma Thurman running around doing her thing.
Stop!
What?
According to you, everybody's just doing their thing.
And
you're not explaining what their things are. You're not explaining the story at all. For everybody at home who hasn't watched this movie, fortunate people you are, for all they know, everybody's thing is having Batman and Robin do a jig on the Himalayas while Mr. Freeze bungee jumps out off of the Eiffel Tower.
Let them think what they want. That's a better storyline than what actually was. So let everybody be in ignorant bliss.
We're supposed to be reviewing the movie, which means that we're supposed to be informing them.
Okay, so since I'm not doing a good enough job, probably because I have too many fat cells, because I'm so fat around my brain, why don't you give the synopsis, and I'll just sit here all nice and quiet. How about that? Does that work for all you people?
Remember that apology I mentioned before? Alright. Well, the plot is about as generic as they come. Mr. Freeze is going around Gotham City, looting all the world's largest diamonds, which for some reason are all housed in Gotham City.
Of course they are.
Which he plans to use to power his death ray freezing machine, so that he can hold the world, or Gotham City, or Cleveland, I don't know, for ransom. He's doing this so that, as he puts it, he can collect the billions he needs to complete his research to cure his wife, who is suffering from the fictional disease McGregor's syndrome.
And now out comes a tiny little violin. Oh.
Well, of course, it's up to Batman and Robin to save the world, but unfortunately, things get a little bit stickier because they add in a second villain in the form of Poison Ivy. Mix in a forced team-up between the two villains, and shoehorn in Batgirl, who's put in mainly so that she will attract the younger female viewers, and maybe a few more guys along the way, too. It's up to the new Bat family to stop the evil forces who want to destroy the world. And that's about it.
So can I go back to my thing now?
Such as it is, go on.
Okay, so let me elaborate on everybody's thing. Batman's thing is, let me go around being the nice one. Let me be the nice one. He's so lame that he's Bruce Wayne all the freaking time.
I think that's because they were going more for the Adam West style, in which Batman was always a nice guy. Unfortunately, what they forgot was, while that worked for the Batman back then because that was the Batman in those comics, Batman had evolved significantly in that roughly 30-year time frame. Also, he had no personality, he had no character development or growth, depth.
He was a playboy all the time. I mean, all the time.
He was boring.
So then we had Chris O'Donnell, who wanted to be his own man. You know, he wanted to be an equal to Batman. He wasn't an equal. He was a sidekick. Really, that's all he was a sidekick. Am I wrong?
And a pretty bad one, too. I mean, he got frozen by Mr. Freeze in the first, 10 minutes of the film?
If that.
Because of that, Robin subjected both Batman and the entire viewing audience both to Mr. Freeze's barrage of freezing puns, as well as Robin's whininess. Hey, you know what? They could have called this film boring and whiny. Quite frankly, it would have fit everything better.
Okay, and then we had Alicia Silverstone as Barbara Wilson, who wasn't even Commissioner Gordon's daughter or niece. What was she in the movie? Please, tell everyone, Wolf.
Alfred Pennyworth's grandniece.
Lame!
Well, I think that was done because the version of Commissioner Gordon that we've had in the Batman movies, ever since the first one that Burton directed, was the worst version of Commissioner Gordon ever.
Yeah, and the only other reason why they brought her on was because she looked good in the tight black leather. And
rubber. Let's at least be accurate here. It was rubber.
Fine then. She looked good in tight black rubber. And then there's this one part where, you know, they're both falling, and Robin shoots his grappling hook up, and he says, "Don't worry, I've got you." His grappling hook fails. Then she shoots her grappling hook up. It secures nicely, and she grabs him and says, "No, I've got you." What was up with that? They both should have let each other fall.
Oh, please. Like, anybody's dialogue in this movie was very good. Hers just was especially bad.
Not as bad, though, as Mr. Freeze's. Seriously, all the man did was make stupid ice puns and say, "I need to save my wife," while he has these huge guns and always making these stupid ice puns. I wanted to take his gun and shoot him. He was so lame.
Like that would have done anything. It was freaking Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I still could have tried.
I will agree. This is, again, the worst version of a character that we have seen. And this is very bad considering that there was a version of Mr. Freeze that was featured on the original 1966 Batman show. That version had more depth and character than anything in Arnold Schwarzenegger's role. Heck, the cartoon did a better job, even redefined the character so that he went from a mad scientist with a gimmick to a missionary of revenge.
They completely and utterly twisted it. They merged the two different versions of Mr. Freeze to Arnold Schwarzenegger. Doesn't work. So sorry, people.
And getting back to the dialogue, if you were to cut all of his ice puns out, he would probably have maybe 10 minutes of screen time in this movie.
If that. Then we have Uma Thurman, who is all about, you know, somehow or other, some guy tries to kill her, but all she does is absorb all these different chemicals, so now she has chloroform in her skin and poison in her lips and this, that, and the other.
She started off as Pamela Isley, an employee for Wayne Enterprises, You'd think that he would have learned after Edward Nygma in Forever. Screen your employees first.
With psych evaluations.
But lessons not learned. Pamela Isley is a fruitcake and a plant rights activist or something who is attempting to merge plants and animals to create the perfect hybrid of plant that will be able to defend itself from the evils of men.
Can we bring out the tiny violin again? Really?
No. Her boss has been stealing her research to create the perfect super soldier, a waste of a character, which we might mention later. And when she discovers it, he murders her when she threatens to report him. The subsequent accident fuses her body with the same plant toxins and chemicals that she was working with to create what she was actually looking for, the perfect plant hybrid. Only, it turns out, she is that perfect plant hybrid, and begins her eco-terrorist run in Gotham City. Where else?
Even though there's like no plants to be found anywhere. And then she has her sidekick, Bane, who all he is, "Ooh, I'm Bane, I'm Bane."
He is that super soldier that I mentioned before, and the worst travesty that this movie did next to Mr. Freeze. Going to have to go into a comic book geek rant here. In the comics, Bane was introduced as the ultimate opponent to Batman. Just as smart, stronger, and actually managed to break his back. Here, he's reduced from a villain that could probably hold his own movie into
chauffeur to Poison Ivy. Literally.
They just added him for extra muscle. Yeah, like we didn't already have that. With Arnold Schwarzenegger!
And all you had to do to defeat Bane was push some button on his chest, and instantly all of his muscles went away and he turned into this scrawny little nothing of a nerd.
Yeah, unfortunately, that version has plagued Bane to this day. Most adaptations of Batman now that use Bane use that version, such as the cartoon show from the WB. Scrawny without the venom, only buff with.
And then my last nitpick for this whole movie, after all that we've said already, was that pretty much the whole town was decorated in neon fluorescent lights. What is with the neon lights?
Because Ninja, Joel Schumacher, filmed this not as a good Batman film, not even as a good movie. He filmed it as a gigantic toy commercial. He even said it to everyone. This is a cartoon and a toy commercial. Treat it as such. Alright?
I feel better.
Yeah, well, I don't. Reviewing this film has only brought back to my mind the fact that Batman, a franchise which I loved as a kid, devolved so far in only a decade. It started off with Batman 89. Burton made it dark, gritty, gothic, and put aside the camp for once, which made people believe that Batman could actually be used as a serious character, and it worked so darn well. But then he had to be given complete art direction, which resulted in Batman Returns, which was too dark, too gothic, too gritty, and too darn depressing. It resulted in Warner Brothers having to completely overhaul Batman in order to make him more family-friendly again, which unfortunately meant bringing in Joel Schumacher, and he brought in some of the camp from the 1960s. Now, Forever was an okay film, but it did have its problems. Oh boy, did it have its problems, and Batman and Robin took all those problems and exemplified them. So much so that Joel Schumacher has actually gone on to apologize for just how bad this film turned out. So I can't hold that against him anymore. However, this is still the worst version of Batman ever seen. So thank you, ninjas. Thank you so much for making me review this.
Well, at least now we know what Wolf's Bane is. For Cinema Semantics, this is the Ninja Psychic Wonderlow.
And this is the Tiger Wolf 55.
If you don't hear from me soon, call the police.
See ya.